Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about something that people do in this industry, and I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to name any specific people, but something that myself and a lot of other coaches, a lot of experts all agree is more or less a scam. And people who I've seen kind of point out that this actually isn't real. It's not based upon evidence. It's just something people use to scam people and sound scientific and to sell complicated programming. Meaning, we're not saying it doesn't work. And by scam doesn't mean you're not going to make progress. It means that they're selling complexity that actually has zero benefit. There's actually no purpose to it. And I mean, I've heard everyone from Lyle McDonald to Alex Viata discuss these things. You know, these are people with solid educations and coaching backgrounds who fully understand research. And they'll kind of point this out. And that is this idea that we need to progressively overload volume, right? That we need to raise volume all the way to our, maximum recoverable volume, push the limits, and then deload, right? And that if we do that, we'll make much better gains. And this is what we should be doing. But there's some issues with that. There's issues with that. We don't even consistently find in every study that tons more volume produces significantly more muscle growth to begin with. If it does, it's very small. And therefore, again, someone trying to maximize performance might be doing double the volume of someone else if they're willing to give that up in the possible recovery for, an extra 0.5% progress per year. All right, fine, we might run higher volumes. But this idea that we have to raise volume, that adding extra volume itself is a form of progressive overload, not really. Right? Not really. If you can do more reps with the same weight, sure. Maybe if you can add another set, to some extent. To some extent. But at a certain threshold, again, we get rapidly diminished returns off those additional sets. Oftentimes, we're better off picking a second exercise. And again, people will say, but didn't in a recent video, maybe one that might have even come up yesterday, didn't you say that, usually just adding that extra set is worth more than trying to go beyond failure? Yes. But if you're already near your maximum recovery, then trying to do those other things is just going to make you grow slower. And adding more sets isn't going to do anything either. I mean, either you're stimulating tons of muscle growth or you are not. There comes a threshold to where you may not be gaining anything at all. It's not always about more. Certain times it's about quality work, and it's about recovery. But this idea that we need to do this is not based upon the evidence. Like there's not real evidence to support this hypothesis, right? It's a hypothesis that some educated people have come up with who make a living selling programming, right? They sell programming, not necessarily coaching, and I want people to understand that difference. Coaching is not the same thing as selling complex programming, because for me as a coach, some of my clients are on very, very simple programming. So what does the coaching then entail? Observing their recovery, managing their fatigue. Not about, hey, can I ramp their volume up to the limit and then deload? No, it's not about that. It's about where's their fatigue at, where's their recovery at, and just staying there. Okay? Just staying there. It's about teaching them technique. It's about observing their lifts. So to me, online coaching requires video. Right? You need to see video footage of their lifts. That's what coaching is. You're looking at the lifts. You're using that as a tool to assess things and teach. It's about giving them accountability. It's about keeping them from doing dumb things. I would say probably a third of what I do as a coach is shooting down dumb ideas. The clients go, hey, I want to try this, and it's something really dumb. The coach is there to say, no, we're going to do what we know works. We're not going to try this silly, half-cocked idea that you have or that you got from listening to some other influencer. No, we're not going to do that. Right? It's to stop people from, oftentimes save your clients from themselves. Right? Because they'll come up with silly stuff. Oh, I think I should try this. Like, why? What does it have to do with the results you want? You have a set of goals, don't you? Well, yeah. How does that help with your goals? That may probably slow you down. It's silly. It's bullshit. You're saving them from that. That's what coaching oftentimes is. It's not just handing someone a program. But here's the point we come to with that: fatigue management. We don't get desensitized to training volume. Okay, that's ludicrous. We probably don't even gain more from pushing to our limits and deloading. You know why we deload? Because we've exceeded recovery. I am not a fan of saying, hey, let's push our absolute limits intentionally and then deload. I have clients who require very frequent deloads, but these are very personal individuals and reasons. I also have clients who really don't deload. We only deload when they're starting to see signs that they need to. We don't plan for it and say, oh, we're going to push to this limit and then deload. No, we just deload when their recovery becomes an issue. Because it will invariably happen. You can keep someone at the same workload year round, and if their lifestyle changes, their stress changes, something affects their sleep for a couple weeks, they may not be able to recover anymore, ideally, from what you were giving them. What worked for a year straight and was perfectly recoverable. But if we're going to look at the volume component, we know that people are better off just staying. If they're trying to maximize gains and they had a recovery for it, we should just stay close to their maximum recoverable volume. If they want to optimize muscle growth, they want to optimize results, we should just kind of keep them there. We don't need to cycle it. People say, well, what about if their recovery changes? But you adjust that based upon their lifestyle. You adjust that based upon their recovery factors, not just trying to load it and increase it. Right? It's not done in waves that are just planned. You do it based upon necessity. All right, that works. And then we're keeping them as close to optimal volume as we can, given their recovery factors and their lifestyle, and just keeping them there. You're not loading it and ramping it up and progressing on it. Because if the higher volume causes more muscle growth, and we know it does to some extent, why would you reduce it down? So they can make less gains? And then hypothetically make more gains for a short period of time and then deload because you've pushed them to overreaching, and make maybe a little less gains on the deload week and still make some? Okay. I don't know that makes sense. Certainly not supported by the evidence, and what I just proposed has a proven track record among champions. People are trying to reinvent the wheel to sell programming. And it works. I mean, it's a good sales pitch. Doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean it's beneficial. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.